Okay, Capricorn, this is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. It is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. I do a new energy read. This is an energy reading. I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader. So we're going to start in layers. We're going to start with the astrology, and then we're going to go into oracle cards and then tarot cards. What this energy reading does is describe to you the energies that you'll be encountering this week, and will give you insights into how to use them, utilize them, or survive them. There's always an extended reading. That link is down below, or you can join the Unbound membership, which I hope that you'll consider, and that will give you access to all of the extendeds for the life of your membership, as well as all the other perks. So check that out as well. You can find that on my main channel banner. Just hit join and you can read more about it. This comes out every week. So for those of you who really love these messages, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so that you know when I upload your favorite content. Capricorn, I think that things could be rough for you this week. And the reason is because, once again, the sun in Taurus is squaring Saturn in Aquarius. Aquarius, by its nature, wants to do the right thing by the crowd, but it also wants to expand and grow. And Saturn is at home in this energy because it likes to instill structure for society. But what about when that structure doesn't work anymore, or when you personally don't feel like you fit in? Be ready for a week where you are constantly feeling at ends or at odds with maybe people's perception of you, what they expect of you, or even what you expect of yourself, what you wish was true about yourself. There are changes that are all about, but I don't think that you're all about them. And ultimately, this could play out in a lot of tension. Later on this week, when the moon is in Libra, there's an uncomfortable aspect. The moon, emotionally, we want to balance things out. Somebody wants to make things work with you, but there's an inability for you to agree. There's an inability, and the inability comes from one thing: a pride that says, if I'm not who I've decided to be, then I'm weak. If I'm not who I said I was and I don't stick by this, then I am a hypocrite to myself. None of that's true. But it is the pressure that you will be putting on and confronting this week. Knowing it is going to make all the difference, because underlying all of it, the truth is you want change. Everybody does right now. The change has been coming for a while. And in some ways, you're more comfortable with it than you're allowing yourself to admit to yourself. And it's not subconscious. It's conscious, but you're repressing it. Like this energy of, I know my new role here, or I know that this is the right thing to do, but I've insisted and I must be this way. I've always been this way. This is what I expect of myself, or I'm disappointing myself. Disappointing yourself based on what? You're going to be really hard on yourself this week. There's going to be a lot of conflict between what you think is you and what you really want to be. Especially since what you really want to be is so much more congruent with the world that you see around you right now. Right? And it's like, but like this sense of non-conformity is your own personal rebellion. And I think in a little way, how Uranus is playing out with your energy. I'm going to rebel by insisting on remaining the same. But are you happy? If you follow your happiness this week, you'll come to the conclusion that it's not weak to wave a white flag. Losing a battle or even a war isn't always losing. It's the consolidation of energy that you don't want to waste on a battle that you lost context with a long time ago. What am I even fighting for? Why have I decided that this is who I am? It's just going to be a challenge for you to let that go. But by midweek, all of us are going, let's put it this way, by Monday of next week, with that new moon in Scorpio, with that full moon in Scorpio, This is the time we're all going to have to confront those aspects of ourselves that we've held on to for a long time because they make us feel safe, but they've also kept us trapped. So let us, Capricorn, move on to your reading. Capricorn energy. Make your dreams real. You're weaving something right now. What does that mean? Well, 5 + 6 = 11. You're awakening, or you're awakening something. You're working on something. Spiders take from themselves and they create their home, building their home, creating something, strategizing something, organizing something. They're the masterminds. They're the master architects. They create beautiful spaces based on their own self-expression. Sorry about that, guys. Ultimately, you may feel like you're walking in a spider web right now. And in some ways, you may not even realize that it's a spider web that you've woven for yourself. In other words, you're making things difficult for yourself, but you feel like you're being trapped, or you're being manipulated, or that you have to walk on eggshells, or like you're walking through a spider web, and if you don't walk in the right place, you're going to get stuck. There's that feeling of unsteady. So unless you're the spider yourself, and unless you are engaged in the creative process right now, that's what you're going to feel like other people are trying to control you. So a way to regain a sense of stability, aka control, is to start engaging in a creative process of your own, is to start inventing, to start creating, to start building out. That will give you a tremendous sense of self-fulfillment, as well as self-recognition and realization, that you won't feel so manipulated because this is your world. This is your creation. Nobody has any insight into it, so you're the mastermind here. So this is a wonderful energy to start creating. And then we have life is a mystery. So there are a bunch of unknowns or landmines that are coming out from this 8th house energy of like deep, deep primal energy, the stuff inside of us that we like to keep hidden. There are parts of us that we like to keep hidden. And it's part of the stuff we like to keep hidden is part of the trigger for feeling like we're walking on eggshells, because we don't want to confront it and we don't want it to come out. And ultimately, the eruption is coming from inside. So the secret to that then, Capricorn, is what are you afraid of? Because if you can face that, you're not walking on eggshells. You're not walking in any spider web. There are no traps set for the person who've accepted their shadow, who've been able to confront it and find a way to not feel afraid of those aspects of themselves. So what is it that you need to see? Life is a mystery. Also, you might feel that there is a hidden manipulation or a hidden threat. Let's get deeper into this. Hold on. First, I want this. Lion spirit, be generous of spirit. So this is courage. Having courage to look to the future anyway. Finding that strength in your heart, in your own sense of who you are. Leo energy. Then we have know your worth. Finding courage inside of yourself to move forward. This is Aries energy. Now Jupiter, as you probably heard, is moving into Aries. And so this is going to give you a boost of courage. It's going to give everybody a boost of courage, especially when it comes to creating something. So once again, one of the best tools in your wheelhouse right now is to work on creating something. Have you always thought of creating that cookbook? Have you always thought of building that website? Have you started getting that business plan for your business going? Have you started writing your book? Have you decided redesigning your home? what is it that you can be creative with and that you have to get done? It'll be challenging for you, so there will be real work involved, but it will also be a sense of pleasure because this is new domain and nobody's hanging over your shoulder. You command your own space. You have the energy now to reinvent who you are, and the confidence inside of yourself to know that you can do it. Where does the confidence come from? Perfection? No. The confidence comes from facing the id, facing being afraid, facing messing up, facing not being perfect. That's where the confidence comes from. It's like, okay, I can do this because I know I don't have to be perfect, because I know all those expectations are bullshit. You know, the sense of, yes, you could see my imperfections. Here they are, and let's discuss them because you may be right about a situation. It's like a learning I was wrong and figuring out how to work through that. Especially if we're afraid to be wrong. That's confidence, is knowing that you can take this energy and do something with it. And then we have magic works through you. This is Cancerian energy. You may be confronting a situation with your family, a maternal need or desire to be a mother, or something with your fourth house, with the family you came from. Maybe even moving on from the family you came from. And that could be one of the biggest challenges right now, is you've seen your family in a certain way. And now it's changing. And the conflict in it changing is your world feels uprooted, or you feel somehow like you're disappointing people. Ultimately, this is a sense of having courage enough to redesign, allow the redesign to happen, especially when it comes to the fourth house or your family, but contribute to it. Make sure that your voice has been heard. And then we have take time out, which means, I don't know if you're going on vacation, traveling somewhere, or simply taking a break from being so hard on yourself. But this is also protective mama bear energy. The protective mama bear energy might also be coming out in that you feel like somehow your family's being compromised. And it's in defense of the family that you're aggressing toward people, or feel most defensive right now. Okay, that could be too, those conflicts, and we'll keep talking about those, absolutely. Embrace the in-between is here, and this is in the future. So this is Libra. This is trying to find the balance, maybe between two different families, right? It's almost like that sense of, well, whose family do we spend Christmas with? Whose family do we spend Thanksgiving with? Or do we just stay home and create something of our own, and anybody who wants to join us can? And that would be the solution. And if this is a metaphor, you could use that metaphorically too, is that it may not be the one or the other. It may be invent a new path. Invent what isn't seen yet. In other words, accept that if neither solution works for you, you have to create a new solution. You will have the creative energy and the confidence to be able to do that. That's that saying, is like, okay, it's not the right path or the left path. It's the path in front of me that's filled with trees. Okay, but I'm going to make a path there. It hasn't been done before, but it'll be done now, because neither of the left or right works for me. So it's really embrace the in-between. And the challenges that come with it, it'd be like, okay, now I have to work a hell of a lot harder. Maybe I'm going to hear it from both. What do you mean you're not coming to Thanksgiving? You were over there last Thanksgiving. Okay, but we're staying home, and you're invited to come if you want. I don't want to have to keep traveling, right? It can't be on me every year to keep traveling. And I'm not saying, you may love to travel. It's the metaphor. You know what I'm saying? There's a sense of, I don't have to pick the solutions that were given to me. I have to create something new that works for me. And if I don't see it on the table, I have to make it. And you can. Give with gratitude and grace. It's so funny. We were just talking about Thanksgiving. But anyway, yeah, this is turkey energy, Thanksgiving energy. And Thanksgiving is what it's like putting your whole self into it, giving your whole self over to it. Also being very self-sacrificing. Also Thanksgiving energy. Give with gratitude and grace. I feel like you're putting your whole self into it. Both of these this is Aquarian energy. So I guess what these cards are asking for is, how much are you giving to others? Is it balanced? or is it extreme? And how much of yourself are you giving to others? Not just in terms of your time, but in terms of, especially this week with Saturn, which is your ruling dignitary, squaring the sun, my own self-identity. How much of my identity am I basing on other people? Am I basing on maybe even my family, if I'm a mother or a father? How much of my identity is dependent upon what other people think of me or expect of me? And that's the challenge right now with what you're putting into balance. And you can meet those challenges in a lot of different ways. Conflicts with family, conflicts with expectations. All of a sudden people will be talking to you or saying something about you and you realize that they really think that you're expected to do this for them, maybe because you have in the past, but ultimately that doesn't mean you always are. A lot will be coming through communications. Then we have be loyal to what you love. This is dog spirit, dog energy. What do you love? What do you love? Really? Because the conflict comes between what I used to love, because remember, this whole fucking year, Saturn is squaring the North and South node. It's what I used to love and where I felt comfortable versus what I'm supposed to love, versus what I love now. It's kind of that conflict between the adulthood and the childhood. Oh, I remember Christmases when I grew up, and now it's your first Christmas with your new spouse. And it's like, isn't the focus supposed to be on the two of you? Happy birthday, Doug Denny. But oh my God, what if I don't go home? I've never spent a Christmas without my mom and dad. Welcome to adulthood. And eventually you guys are going to be mom and dad. Right? You can't keep going back to mom and dad's house. This is all metaphoric. This is the old self and how you identified with who you were and how you still feel so obligated because you do still love mom and dad. You know, it's not that, but when you realize it's not a lack of love when I move on from what I used to be. It's a lack of needing to be in that space anymore. And it can be very emotional. It will be very emotional with all of these conflicts with the moon. It's like you will not be able to find an emotional balance right now. It's going to take you through the gamut of sadness so that you can finally release with that full moon in Scorpio on Monday. But like that's sort of how it's building right now. Yeah. I want to do the moon cards right now. Caught between two worlds. Afraid to like say, but I'm ready to do it differently. Why? Who do you love now? In the case of the metaphor, wouldn't the new bride and the new groom love each other too? Do they have to then prioritize their parents the way they did when they were kids? You're not kids anymore. You're starting your own life. This is something brand new. So you have to look at a path that you haven't done before. You know, you have to start creating your own new traditions. So we have your hard work is paying off, new moon in Capricorn, and the answers you need are coming, full moon in Gemini. In other words, you're going to be able to get your point through to somebody, or somebody's going to be able to get through to you. In terms of communication, maybe you've been trying really hard to work things out or talk to somebody about something, at least how you're feeling about a situation. They'll understand. Keep trying. Communications, retrograde will slow down the communications, but remember, Mercury is still in Gemini. This is still a great time to have one-on-one conversations. You might be playing through those one-on-one conversations that you've had, but remember, memory never remembers something correctly. So go have those conversations again. Talk about it again. Keep at it, because it will be through verbal expression that you'll finally be able to work something out. Talk it out. Especially when finally you two or whoever you're dealing with, you're all able to get to what you're scared to talk about. The feelings, or, the hard stuff. Worried. What does it mean? Well, you know what, guys? It means something's new. And new is never easy because it requires building out new cornerstones again. Right? But there's your challenge. You love challenge. Doesn't have to be easy to be good. interesting that one card came out in the past. This is life is good. Series, look at it's bountifulness, it's plentifulness. It's the bounty of life. It's so much to choose from. In other words, as I picked up in the other cards, you have the resources to be able to make these necessary changes. It's not that you can't. It's the stubbornness that's fueled by fear of change. That sense that you're telling yourself, it's not even necessarily pushing back against other people, that you're telling yourself, no, I have to make these choices. I can't let this go. Let's get into tarot, because I want to go a little bit deeper and see how this is impacting each of your life paths. So your career, your love life, and your money. I'll see you guys there. The links are below.